We are go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Italo from Italo's Black Dog Radio here. And here's the interview that I had with Stacy Dymalski, a wonderful woman. A bit much, perhaps, for some people, but not for me. I love every piece of this interview. She's an amazing woman, and her show is premiering at the Hollywood Fringe. So here's the interview that I did a few weeks ago now. So come and see it. But first, here is what she had to say about it.
Hello, everybody. Hello. I am again here in Black Dog Radio universe. And I had Wonder Woman calling me today. I was like, oh my God, are you ready? She's like, I am ready. I am woman. So, Stacy, I'm just kidding. No, that didn't happen. But actually, I was running around, so I was like, yeah, like, okay, hold on, I'm not ready yet. Okay. So, but I chose that song because I read the synopsis of your show, which is called A Bit Much, and Stacy's a bit much to some people, believe it or not. For those that don't know her, Stacy Dymalski, she's an actress. She's also a wonderful woman. I met her last year at the Hollywood Fringe Festival, and she was doing a one-woman show. It was called something with razor ribbon.
Oh, last year last year it was called The Other Side of the Razor Ribbon, and it was a serial comedy about how I mentored a federal prisoner, an inmate, to help him write his book. And he got it written, and it became published, and now it's in production or in pre-production to become a movie.
Wow,
that was last.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Right, that was last year.
But this year I have a new show. Yeah.
Right. But actually, you know, that's one thing. A bit much, right? But actually, last year when you did your show, and I went to see it, and I liked it. I loved it. But the part that really was interesting to me was your story. You know what I mean? Like you were talking about the prisoner and how his story, and how you were writing his story or helping him write his story. But the interesting part of that was your story, and I was like, okay, I wanted to see more of you, and for some reason, this year you're doing it. And you're doing it. It's very personal because you're talking about your own life and then putting that on stage, and that's truly brave and bold. I couldn't do it right now. I will be ready eventually, but well, tell the audience what is your show about. Right?
Okay, this is your show, A Bit Much. So I'm a stand-up comic and a writer, and my whole life, even when I was a little girl, I was told, oh my gosh, you can just be a bit much. I had a 6th grade teacher tell me once, could you just sit down and be quiet? You're just a bit much. And I've heard it over and over and over again. And so I tried to acquiesce. I tried to fit in. And I realized that bit muchness is like my secret sauce. It's the thing that makes me me. It just is kind of not the, it's not the norm for women, especially in the era of which I grew up. And so I thought, well, and I'm just going to march counter to formation, and instead of shy away from it, I'm going to embrace it, which is what I've really done anyway, subconsciously, is embraced it, because that bit muchness is the thing that allows me to get up on stage and tell stories. Because as a comic and a storyteller, even though I frame everything to be funny, or hopefully funny, it is all very vulnerable and authentic. And so the irony here is the thing that people have told me to tone down is the exact thing I need to do what I love. And so that's what this show is about, is embracing your authenticity. And I package it in what I hope for the audience is a very humorous way. So that's what it's about. And I premiered it at Solo Fest, White Fire Theater Solo Fest on February 28th, and it was a huge success, even more so than, because that was the first time that I put the show up in its entirety. That show was a little over an hour. I'm going to cut it down to an hour for Hollywood Fringe. But I've done pieces of it as stand-up and storytelling for a long time. And I finally, put it all together in one cohesive show. And it just, Victor, it just killed. It was great, if I do say so myself.
Great.
So I'm very excited to do it for the Hollywood Fringe.
And I can't wait to see it at the Hollywood Fringe because I missed it, and I don't know why I missed it. But anyways, but yeah, I by the way, I forgot to say happy belated birthday. I know it was your birthday last weekend, right?
Yes, it was a week ago Wednesday, so a week ago tomorrow.
Oh,
but I was in Las Vegas all week with a bunch of friends celebrating the awesomeness of me.
Right. Yeah, so happy belated birthday. I know it was you have a great time in Vegas, and I saw that. But what I was going to say is the Solo Fest actually sounds interesting to me. And I hadn't heard it until recently, and I think it was maybe because Megan was there. I forget who told me, but somebody told me about it. I think it was Megan that told me about the festival.
Yeah, she's my producer. And she's producing.
Right. Yeah, and actually, this one show, so A Bit Much, is produced by Megan Ford Miller, who is a woman. Yes. Directed by Jessica Lynn Johnson, who is like the super director of the Hollywood Fringe. I don't know how many shows I've seen directed by Jessica, and this is going to be another one, so that's awesome.
Yep.
Did she direct your last show, by the way, or I forgot?
She did not. No, she did not. I didn't have a director last year, and I have to say, having a director this year has been, for me, it's just been it's night and day. It's so much better. Right. So I didn't have nobody direct. I directed myself last year, which I don't recommend.
You did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Why don't you recommend it? Because I actually am doing. Okay, so I'm helping a friend who happens to be my friend from last year's Hollywood Fringe, and she's actually doing it all too. She's producing, directing, acting in it, but I'm actually there to assist her because I know she needs assistance and she needs a set of eyes. So that's what I'm doing, but I want to basically, see her vision through. But you, like you just said, it's really hard. You don't recommend it, but you did it. So I'm wondering if she's doing the right thing, or if she should have a director.
Well, there's a lot of elements involved with that decision. Last year, I did as a stand-up comic. I'm used to directing my own vision. But here's the difference between, for example, a fringe show or a solo show and stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy, you get up there and there isn't a whole lot of in most cases, there's not a whole lot of choreographed motion because it's not it's a theatrical show. It's a form of theater, but it's not really a theatrical show. So you can wander around the stage. You might have a couple of jokes where body language plays into part of the joke, and then you get that in your head. But in a solo show, I think for me, the good solo shows, it combines elements of stand-up and theater. So that means some body language, some blocking, some so it's a multi-dimensional form of art that what I think takes the best of several worlds. And for me, it's funny, you introduced me as an actress, which I'm so flattered because I don't consider myself an actress. I'm working on it. That's not how I got into entertainment. I originally got into entertainment as a stand-up comic, and then I got plucked from that pool as a TV writer. So, but I do love performance, and so I'm aspiring to that. But anyway, I think having a director it's exactly what you said. It's an extra pair of creative eyes. It's you know what? It's like if you want to cut your own hair, you could take your head off and put it on a pedestal and cut your own hair. So that you've got this extra set of eyes that is going to that you trust, who can see your vision.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, what would really be cool here is if you had some sort of movement that emphasized what you're saying, or timing is everything. So they can help you with timing even when you're not moving. So for me, having a director just opened up a whole new part of this art form that I realize now for me was missing. And it was the difference between me watching someone else do a solo show and go, wow, that was really something. I want to do that, but I'm not sure how to do it. Now, if I have somebody who is schooled in that, who knows what they're doing, then they can help me see my vision even better. So that's why it's better for me. But I was looking for that next level of artistic vision, whereas some people might be, I'm right where I need to be and I love it, and actually too many cooks will spoil the soup. So I think it's just a personal preference, and for me, I think I'm going to stick with having a director for this kind of thing. Now, that said, I still do stand-up on a regular basis, and I don't have a director for that. I'm still doing my own thing as far as that's concerned. So, it's just, like I said, personal preference and what it is that you're going for. A little soul-searching, and then you decide what you want to do.
Yeah. I might do it because I do have a story, but I do have a story, but it was going to take too much of me to do it. And so, Irina, she came to me and she told me about The Little Prince. And, of course, I love The Little Prince. And she was my flying monkey last year. And so we're like, okay, we're going to collaborate this time around. And I kind of want to sit back also. And I kind of want to, because last year was crazy. Doing everything, and people that don't know, Hollywood Fringe Festival happens in June, but you don't even know how much preparation it takes to get to June because we're already starting. You know, Stacy knows.
Oh, it's crazy. The preparation is just crazy.
Yeah. Time flies.
We're
already going.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Having that extra person who says, hey, I got you. I got this. And that just, even if they hardly do anything, just the mental idea that somebody is there as a safety net to catch me artistically and guide me, just that mindset alone is huge for me.
Right.
I'm all about mindset.
It's a relief.
Yeah.
Well, tell us more about your I want to hear about your upbringing, because when I see your synopsis and what your show is about, I can tell that you've been raised by, I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken. What was your upbringing like? Like who do you remind are you like your mom? Are you like your father? Are you like aunts? Or you probably look up to somebody when you were growing up, and that's why you turn out to be so outspoken and so independent, like the song says.
Yes. Well, you're absolutely right. I had a very unconventional childhood, and I was raised by artists in their own way. My parents got pregnant with me right out of high school, and so they were just kids. They married for a nanosecond and then had it annulled. And then they each went on to marry several times and have more children themselves. And so It was a little bit of in a lot of ways, a little bit of a hippy-dippy kind of thing. And I feel like I was given a lot of artistic freedom. And my mom was very much involved in the women's movement in the 70s. And so she was, I don't want to throw her under the bus or anything, but she was kind of destined for greater things than she got to do, because she ended up having children so young. And so she was involved when she could be in the women's movement. And I watched all that thinking, wow, I can do that. There's no reason why I can't do the same things a man does. And my dad was a staff reporter for the Oakland Tribune. And when I would go visit him, I was born in the Bay Area. When I would go visit him, I kid you not, I actually wrote about this as a chapter in a book, a humorous book I wrote once, which is still out there, called Confessions of a Band Geek Mom. Anyway, when he had me, he sometimes would take me on assignment. You know, it was almost like the movie Paper Moon, you know, only he wasn't a grifter. He had a legitimate job, but it was dangerous. And so he would go meet people to interview them, like in some shady bar or something. And he would take me in there and sit me on a stool and go, now just wait here. And he'd go off and at the other end of the bar, for example, and interview some mob guy or something. And so I saw this, and instead of being, you know, like this 10, 11-year-old girl, instead of being afraid of it, I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And both my parents were writers, and my mom was also a teacher. And so I grew up in that environment, and neither parent told me I couldn't do anything I wanted. And I watched them do unconventional things, along with a lot of step-parents that came and went. And so when I got out into the real world and was told, no, that isn't right, it was counterintuitive to what how I had been brought up. And so I tried to fit in, and I just realized that every step of the way I would figure out a way around it, because innately I am who I am. And the way I got started in stand-up was I went to UC Berkeley, and I actually have a math and mechanical engineering degree. And
what?
So I was, yeah.
Wow.
I know. My first job out of college, I was a rocket scientist at McDonnell Douglas. I literally was, and that only lasted while I'm doing stand-up at night at the comedy store. So what happened was, when I was in college, when I was about 19, I had a friend who he was a business major, and he said, and he was doing a lot of marketing and promotion internships. And he said, hey, this new comedy club across the bay in San Francisco just opened up. It's called The Punchline, and I got some free tickets. Let's go. And I'm like, okay. So we go, and I'm watching. This is really the first time I've ever seen stand-up comedy, and I'm watching it. And it wasn't the big deal that it is now. You know, back in college, the only way you could see stand-up comedy was to go to a club and see it. And I'd never done that. And so I'm watching these comics one right after another. And by the way, every one of them are male. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, my God, I can do that. I mean, what 19-year-old girl watches that and goes, oh, I can do that. And so they had an open mic come up, and I signed up, and I went up and did my 5 minutes, and I guarantee you I stunk on ice. But people laughed, and I don't think it was because it was necessarily funny. I think they laughed because they're thinking, what am I watching here? This is crazy. And
a train wreck.
And train wreck, but in a way that they just can't look away. And when they snicker, it's more because they just can't believe what they're seeing. And in its odd way, it worked. And so I kept going back to open mic nights, and then I got hired to MC, and that ended up being this job I did through college. And then when I graduated from college, I got a job in the LA area at McDonnell Douglas, designing planes. And at night, I would drive up to the Comedy Store and do open mic nights there, and just all around town, do these little things. And you know, one thing led to another, that eventually I quit being a rocket scientist and became a full-time writer in comics. So I came in in a weird way, because I was a bit much.
Yeah, for the scientist.
Yeah.
That's funny. I would have never thought, you know, this is really interesting. I never heard this story before. So I'm like, wow, rocket scientist. And now comedian or artist. I met you as an actress, so you know, that's what I mean. Like, but again, this is just roles that people they like to put labels on people, and like I was talking to Jonathan, who is an actor or performer. But I told him, I'm
Right.
like, every time we talk about storytelling, you make a face, and I don't know why you make a face. It's like, well, you know what, Victor? I only first and foremost, I'm an actor, but I just happened to share this one story at a storytelling event, and suddenly I'm a storyteller. But and that's what I understood right away. I'm like, okay, stop. I already know what bothers you, and that's because people are quick to label you and quick to put you in a box, and you're just so much more than just a storyteller. You're so much more than just a rocket scientist. You're so much more than a comedian. We're so multi-faceted. It's hard to place Stacy in a box, and it's hard to place me in a box because we are so many things, and we have to do so many things to break through this Hollywood facade and make our statement, because Fringe Festival is not what it sounds like. It's not like fancy schmancy and glamorous and Great Gatsby, and it's not. So we have to break through 400 other shows that are competing for attention. It's not easy, obviously, but for me, it was really a revelation to me that I could actually do this. I didn't know I could do it, and I was told I couldn't do it by many people, including my mom and including my family, including my close friends, until I had to break away from those friends, quote unquote, and I finally met somebody that trusted me to put this into fruition, and I still couldn't believe it. Even as it was happening, I couldn't believe it. So it took me so long to finally realize it's like I did it. I just did it.
Yeah.
Why can't you just accept the fact that you did it, and you did it? Of course, you didn't do it on your own. Like some people claim to do it on their own, and it's not a one-man person. It's not or woman. It takes a village to do it. So I know that you have Jessica and you have Megan, but I'm sure there's more people supporting you, making this.
You're supporting me. You're supporting me with my vision right now by helping me, by talking to me about it and sharing it with people. So you're right. It definitely, there really is no form of art that is completely solitary, because, even say a sculptor, once he or she is done, you need somebody to look at it and admire it and, talk about it. And so I always say that, especially something like a screenplay or a sculpt, if you put those things in a drawer, nobody sees it and nobody can appreciate it. It's just, you need community in order for art to survive and thrive. And you're right. Anybody who says, I did this all myself, there's no way. There's just no way.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I guess we revere the actor sometimes so much, and we forget everybody that helped this person to be on top or be where he is or she is. It's not just it's not just Julia Roberts. It's not just Megan Fox. It's not just what image that we or Beyonce or anybody. It's not just that person. Of course, it takes a whole team of people to make whoever be where they are. But Stacy's doing it on her own too, because you're writing it and you're independent from the Hollywood studios, and you're not, what I mean? It's not It's not sponsored by a lot of big honchos. And that's wonderful, because you want to express yourself and you don't want to have anybody, put their 2 cents and then change it and, take this off and take this off. And then why do you change this? And you make it into a comedy and then make it into a tragedy. And, so you don't have anybody, going in with malicious intent. And so we get Stacy.
All I have is the audience. And that's why I like stand-up because you can get out there as every night of the week if you want. I mean, there's open mic nights somewhere, multiple ones every night of the week, or storytelling salons, and you can get up there and try out new material, and you know whether it works or not by the audience reaction. And I love that. Whereas in television or film or even, a web series, once it's done and it's out there, it's done. I mean, you can go on to the next project, but if it didn't work for some reason, or even if it did, but you watch it and you go, I'd do things differently if I could do that again, it's done. Where stand-up, and even to some degree solo theater, it's constantly evolving. Like the show I'm going to do for Hollywood Fringe of A Bit Much, I'm making tweaks based upon, because I have my show on the 28th recorded, and I've watched it, which is always very humbling. And there are things that I know, right? There are things that I'm going to tweak because I watch that and think, based on the audience reaction, I think I can make that better. And I really like that part of it. It's like throwing a lump of clay on a wheel, and then as the wheel spins, you get to mold it into something that doesn't look like a lump of clay anymore. And that's what I'm working on right now. And I'm very excited about some of the minor changes that I'm going to make, seeing how they work. And even before the Hollywood Fringe, I've been getting up and doing little parts of it as part of open mics and story-telling salons, just to see, just for the wording. I'm all about crafting I won't even say the joke because I'm more of a storyteller even as a comic than a joke teller, but crafting the verbiage in that. I love that wordsmithing, and the only way I can do that is to literally go in front of an audience and go, what do you guys think of this? And then do it. And they love it. They love it. They love seeing somebody up there performing without a net. They love it.
Yeah, interesting word, because I use it all the time. Even on this little platform that I have, the Black Talk Radio, or even open mics, like you said, I used to host open mics, and I was petrified because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know who to be. I didn't know what the audience wanted me to be, and so I had to find my own voice and through the process, obviously at the beginning I was stuttering and I was sweating and I was nervous, and I had to have everything scripted, and I had to put so much energy into being someone else. And when I suddenly broke away from that and I started just sharing, like I recently just did it too through Busted. This is this little storytelling group that they have in Echo Park, and they just tell stories about the bus, riding the bus, and it sounds very simple. It's very, it's awesome because you don't even know how many people have different stories, and of course I have the stories of Lyft, driving, and doing that, but I also rode the train, and I also rode the bus, and I also at some point in my life I was riding a bike. So you can relate. You have so many stories happen every single day, and you just don't realize how very interesting they are. And so that's what I found out. It's like, I find my voice, and I don't have to have a script. I don't have to worry about, where's my book? Where's my notebook? Oh, my God, I forgot. I don't have to worry about it no more. And that's what happened last weekend. I was like, oh, my God, where's my book? Where's my haikus? I forgot my haikus. Doesn't matter. People don't want to, make you, they don't really know you. So just be yourself. Yes, whatever you're called to say on the mic, just say it. And people really relate to that. And also, of course, when I'm reading something and your eyes are on the page or on the, book you're reading, or the phone sometimes. You don't look at the audience. You don't make a connection with the audience. Audiences love connection, you're looking at them, they're looking back at you. And that's another thing. I couldn't do that for the longest time. So comedians, you guys have the guts to do it. I don't think I can do it. But I can now, but taking a long time.
Well, I have a couple of tricks that just in public speaking in general, because I do a lot of corporate speaking too. And the one thing that I think anybody who gets up in front of an audience, for whatever reason it is, the one thing you have to remember as the speaker, and this is true for comedy or if you're giving a speech at work or whatever, honest to God, there is not one person in that audience that wants you to fail. Not one. And so if you wrap your head around that, what you can do is you can use that positive energy that's out there. If you just remember that, everybody in here wants me to be funny, or they want me to be engaging, or they want me to be successful, because there's nothing worse than watching somebody uncomfortable in front of a crowd. And so they don't want that. So if you remember, hey, these guys are actually on my side. We're all on the same side. We all want success out of this. And that they're forgiving. So if I forget a line, or if I skip something I thought I was going to say, or, if something goes wrong up here, nobody's going to shoot me. It's just, you just move on. And so that helps me a lot to think there is nobody out there that wants me to fail. And I live up to that. And that's been so helpful for me as a speaker.
Yeah, that's actually, you know what? It's so true. It is so true. If you see a comedian sweating and you see a comedian stuttering, that's the worst experience for me. I feel as though, because I'm very empathetic, empath. And so I feel, I'm like, oh my God, don't do it. Oh my God, just say it. And, so it's very traumatic for the audience member. Like, oh my God, I feel for you, but dude. So
yeah.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, the other thing is that people worry about when they get in front of an audience is they think, what if I'm not good? What if they don't like what I say, or what if they don't listen, or what if I'm not funny? And the way you let go of that is because you are up there, and because you are, like what you said, speaking your truth. Nobody can argue with that. Nobody can say that's not true. That didn't happen, when you were raised that, or whatever the joke is, because everybody knows that people, not just comedians, but when you're telling a funny story, people embellish to give it, a little bit over the top to make it funny. And so you have to remember that when you're up there speaking, whatever you are saying is the absolute truth, and nobody can argue with it. And so that's another thing, that when you realize, as the speaker, I am giving my authenticity, I am giving my absolute truth, and you just stick with that, then that's kind of liberating too, because there's only your absolute truth, and if you just go along that path, then it kind of becomes a train coming down the track. You just, after a while, you're so focused on that you kind of just, that becomes the bigger thing than this big audience out in front of you. The hardest part about getting up to speak in front of people is the 30 seconds right before you take the stage and the 30 seconds after you get on the stage. After that, once you're out there, it's fine. And, before that, until you're about to walk out there, you're fine. So it's just that 1 minute, the 30 before and the 30 after, that 1 minute of pain. If you can just get through that, like you're golden.
Like the dismount at the end, it's like, okay, I'm out.
Yes.
And I think it's very, I understand what you're saying, because right after you step off the stage or the mic, I feel so, oh my God, like, there's so much blood flowing through me. and I think it's because of the excitement or the adrenaline. But yeah, I understand. But and also
Yeah.
right before you step on stage, it's also scary, but thrilling as well. But before I forget, because we're almost done with the program, and I don't want us to get cut off without mentioning that your show it's going to be on Hollywood Fringe Festival, but I don't have any details. Do you have the details of the, like where the theater and all stuff?
Okay, it's I have 3 shows this year in the Hollywood Fringe, and I'm at the Lounge Theater for all 3 shows. The first show is Saturday, June 8th at noon. The second show is Sunday, June 16th at 4 p.m. And the last show is Thursday evening, June 27th at 6 p.m. And again, all at the Lounge Theater.
Okay, and for tickets, you can go to they can go through your website or hollywoodfringe.org.
Yes, and my website is thememoirmidwife.com.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can go there, or you can go straight to hollywoodfringe.org and search on a bit much, or even just the word much, and it'll take you. You'll see it. It's actually easier to just remember the word much, and it'll take you to a list of. I think I come up first in that search, and then tickets go on sale May 1st.
Oh, right.
Go there. Yeah.
And for those who are listening, to this podcast, there's going to be a link below. So the midwife, what is it? The memoirmidwife.com. Is down,
all one
down
word,
there.
including the word thememoirmidwife.com.
Right. So put that, and also I also put the your Facebook page. So, and you can call me or you can talk to me. You can send me a message too, and I'll forward you to Stacy's page. But it's been a great. You know what? I get so much from these interviews because not only do I learn from everybody that I have on my shows, I learn about myself a lot, believe it or not. But anyways, we'll talk more. Are you going to be at the office hours next Wednesday? I
am. That's tomorrow night, right?
Awesome. All right, tomorrow, exactly. Yeah. So we're gonna talk a lot more because there's a lot to talk about off the air.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you again.
Yeah, no, I saw Megan last week, and I was like, "Where's Stacy?" And she's like, "No, she's not here. You were busy." So
I was in Vegas celebrating my birthday.
I'm like, "Ooh, yeah." I don't blame you.
We'll talk about that offline.
Yes. Okay.
I love this woman. She might be a bit much for some people, but not for me. I love every piece of this interview. For those that haven't bought the tickets, please do so now, because she will bring the house down, and a lot of women will. This year is split 50-50, so the female power is present at the Hollywood Fringe Festival as every year, and not only that, but come support any other shows at the Hollywood Fringe. Just visit hollywoodfringe.org. There's already a guide that I've heard about, even though it's not official. There's a guide on Hollywood Fringe now. But if you like more information, contact me or go to the Fringe Central, which will be at the La La Land Gallery on Santa Monica Boulevard. And of course, or if you're listening to this podcast, make sure to like my Facebook page. I can't stress that enough because I'll be doing this on YouTube, I'll be doing this on Facebook. You never know where it's going to come from. So the best way to do it will be to like the Facebook page. And again, I want to thank you for listening and sharing this podcast. Until next time, this is Italo's Black Dot Radio.
see that coming.